I have a post that I made about, well, actually, it's the one that I have pinned to my profile currently that's about, at some point in 2017, I find myself waking up at 3:30 a.m. to go hike Adam's Peak in Sri Lanka. And then I wrote in that post in the caption, so at 3:30 a.m., I start climbing, I start the climb of 1,000 steps in the dark. This one line, it kind of just like stuck out at me. I was like, because it was like a metaphor for exactly what this 1 month was, right? The 1 month before the train, it's like, and you could even argue for any time thereafter, from like idea to implementation, from idea to the action, right? That this 1 month process was exactly what that metaphor, that line was capturing. It was like, at 3:30 a.m., I began the climb of 1,000 steps in the dark. And there's something like quite poetic about that, because if you think about it, it's like, I couldn't see the whole staircase, right? Of, especially when you're in the dark, and also obviously when you're just at the base of the mountain or something, you don't necessarily see the whole thing at once. And that's exactly what the go to Toronto idea was. Is like, even though obviously I knew I was going to the top of the mountain, even though I was, the point was to ascend this to the Adam's Peak and then see the sunrise up there and whatnot, or just, whatever reason prompted me to do that, or just, have this activity to do, I guess, and sense of accomplishment, whatever you would do this hike for. It was like this idea that I was actually essentially taking one step at a time, from the idea, like from the initial conversation to the shift in conversation, to the questioning, to the getting curious, right? To the really asking myself, like the inner inquiry, like what would feel good? What would feel warmer or cooler? What would this look like for you, Sarah? Like what would the customized version of this that would, this is where self-knowledge becomes so important, because no one can answer these questions for you. You only can know these things. And for me, it often came like a very visceral response when I kind of allowed it to be light. Like I wasn't sitting down with a very analytical approach. Like I mentioned, I was in this life coaching program, often just my mind wandering here and there, or, my attention would go, and then I would just instinctively answer these questions that I would pose to myself, or that would just arise in my mind as I was like staring out the window at times. And it would be like, would I go by plane? No, I would go by train. And then one thing would lead to another. And so I'm like, oh, that station looks cool. Well, obviously I would just stay nearby there. Okay, I would stay by the waterfront area. And then would I stay in a hotel? No. And the next thing leads to me this 1 month accommodation in the Hostels International, and so forth. So this is the month before the yes.